Hello, welcome to the lecture series on control systems engineering. Here we'll discuss about compensation technique. Here I'll explain different types of compensators and their characteristics, how compensators can be used to improve the system performance. So basically, control system, you have a plant, say G of S, and you have a feedback transfer function, say H of S. Okay, this is R of S, this is C of S. Earlier I was using a block here, called it as a controller. So there I wrote it as GC of S. We have studied different types of controllers like proportional controller, integral, derivative, and their combinations and their effect on the system or the plant. Effect of the plant we have studied. How these compensators can be used to achieve the required time response specifications. Okay, so I have explained all these things. Now instead of controller, I will have a compensator. You can say compensator is also a kind of controller only. Here basically, when we have, it is very easy using compensator to fix the frequency response specifications like gain margin, phase margin, other things. Of course, you can also use it for time response specifications. So what is the difference between controller and a compensator? Say here, I think controller, basically the controller gains have to be adjusted to get the required time response specifications. In controller also you can introduce poles and zeros. Here compensator, basically we find out the right pole and zero combinations and introduce that to adjust the required frequency response specifications. In simple words, you can say compensator is also like a controller. Now, the design of a control system is concerned with rearrangement of the control system structure and the selection of suitable modules and parameters. The rearrangement or adjustment of a control system in order to provide suitable performance is called compensation. In other words, compensation is the adjustment of a system in order to make up for deficiencies or inadequacies. In designing a control system, as to alter the system response, an additional component or components inserted within the structure of the system. This component we call it as compensator or compensators. Definition is, a compensator is an additional component or a circuit that is inserted within a control system to compensate for deficiency of performance. That when we solve the problem, I'll demonstrate. This material I have taken from one of the textbooks, right? You see, let us look at the types of compensation. This is what we call it as cascade or series compensation. I put the compensator in series with the process of the plant. Here I'm keeping the compensator in the feedback path. So it's a feedback compensation. Output or load compensation here. The output of the system I'm compensating here. Here I'm putting on the input side, so input compensation. So these are the types of compensation that we talk about. So cascade compensation network, let us talk about that. The compensation network GCFS is cascaded with unalterable process G of S in order to provide suitable open loop transfer function GCFS, GFS, HFS. The compensator GCF can be chosen to alter either the shape of the root locus or the frequency response to get the required desired specifications, desired parameter specifications. A compensator GC of S generally used with the plant so that the overall loop gain can be set to satisfy the steady state error requirements. Then GCFS is used to adjust the system dynamics favorably without affecting the steady state error. Now you just consider a first order compensator. This is how a compensator transfer function looks like. It is the gain S plus Z, S plus P. It has 1 0 at S is equal to minus Z, and it has a 1 pole at S is equal to minus P. So if the value of Z is less than P, that is Z is nearer to the origin than the pole, then that compensator is called lead compensator. If Z is greater than P, then it is called lag compensator. Suppose phase angle, if I write the equation tan inverse of omega by Z, okay, minus tan inverse of omega by P, okay. If Z is small, omega by Z will be a large value, large. Then Z is less than P, correct? Omega Z will be large compared to omega pi, compared to omega by P. So tan inverse of this value will be larger than tan inverse of this value. So net angle will be positive. Then it is lead compensator. If it is other way, Z is greater than P, then phase angle will become negative. This will become lag compensator. And combination of lead and lag then becomes lead lag compensator. Okay. In a lead compensator, 0 will be nearer to the origin compared to pole on S plane. In a lag compensator, P will be nearer to the origin than the 0 that we go to on S plane. Okay. Right. So this is the logic behind this. So here what happens is, suppose if I take input a sinusoidal one, output will be leading the input. This is output and this is input. In the other one, if this is the input, then the output will be like this. Sorry, Okay, it will be lagging like this. Okay, this angle here it will be leading. So that's what happens in a lead compensator. This is what happens in a lag compensator. Right. I made a mistake here. That's a problem. Right. Okay. All right. That's fine. Now let us talk about phase lead network. I've just shown a circuit like this, electrical circuit. Let us get the transfer function of this circuit. I can write E naught of S by EI of S is equal to R2 divided by R2 plus current here R1 by C1S CS divided by R1 plus 1 by CS you get. Okay, this input voltage equal to this voltage plus this voltage, then this voltage again this current. I can split it as I1 and I2, then I can find out this. So finally it will be, if I reorganize all these things, E naught of S by EI of S will be R1 CS plus R1 CS plus 1 divided by 1 plus R1 R2 divided by R1 R2 CS multiplied by R2 divided by R1 plus R2. This is what you get. Correct? So now what we do is, once we get this, let us call that this part is 1 by alpha. That means alpha is equal to R1 plus R2 divided by R2. Okay, then this part, let me call it as tau. That is equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into C. I call this as tau. So then we can write this as, reorganizing all these things, we can write E naught of S by E of S is equal to 1 by alpha into 1 plus alpha tau S divided by 1 plus tau S. We can write. Okay. Now this is nothing but S plus 1 by alpha tau. Take out that alpha tau outside. Again tau also you take out common. You will get S plus 1 by tau. Okay. This you compare with S plus Z divided by S plus P. So now Z is equal to 1 by alpha tau and P is equal to 1 by tau. Hence tau is equal to 1 by P I can write. So 1 by tau is P. 1 by tau is P. This can be written as P by alpha, or I can write P is equal to alpha Z. Okay, so better. This is the tau. This is alpha. Then tau is equal to 1 by P and P is equal to alpha Z. So better know these things. Okay, so by organizing a circuit like this, we can do this way. So you can take it as I1, this you can take it as I2, this you can take it as I. Again the same current I will flow, and then we can get this transfer function. Okay, this is how the transfer function can be obtained. It is necessary to know this. Now we can locate this. So as you said, Z will be nearer to the origin compared to pole. This is sigma j omega. Let us say you have a transfer function like this, S plus let us say S plus 2 divided by S plus 10. So you have a 0 at minus 2 and you have a pole at minus 10. If I take out common here, 1 plus 0.5 S divided by 10, if I take out common, it is 1 plus 0.1 S. Okay, let this be there. Let us not bother about. Now let us draw the body plot for this. Okay, let me write it as 0 dB plus 20 plus 40 60 minus 20 minus 40 minus 60. Okay, let me draw this. Okay, next it is 0.1, say it is 1. This is 10, 100, 1000 and 10,000. Okay, next break frequency of this is 2. Up to 2 it is 0. Then plus 20 dB per decade. Correct. Next, up to 10 it is 0. Then minus 20 dB per decade. This is plus 20 dB. This is minus 20 dB. Let me draw the resultant plot. Okay. I have not taken the constant gain factor. Let us say up till this is 0. Then it varies with plus 20 dB per decade till here. Then this is plus 20 dB per decade. Then this minus 20 dB per decade. It will become 0 dB per decade. So it will become a horizontal line. So that's how you get the magnitude plot. Same way I can do it for the phase angle plot. Okay, so I can once again draw the semi-log sheet. I have taught you how to do the phase angle of this and phase angle of this. This is how you will get the magnitude plot and the phase angle plot. So this is how, then you can draw the actual plot. There's no problem at all, applying the correction factors. Such a compensate. This is how the Bode plot of the phase lead compensate. Phase lead compensate. Okay, right. You can also draw the polar plot for this. Right. So it is leading. Correct? The maximum value of the phase lead occurs at a frequency omega, which is the geometric mean of P, which is nothing but 1 by tau. Z is equal to 1 by alpha tau. So geometric means root of Z P. Z value I have substituted 1 by alpha tau. Okay. And P value I have substituted 1 by tau. Then you are going to get omega is equal to this. Omega m. So if I know the value of tau, if I know the value of Wm, I can find out, and I can find where exactly the maximum value occurs here. Okay, right. Next. You know tan inverse of that. I can find alpha is equal to tan inverse of omega alpha tau by 1 minus tan inverse of omega tau. Then, or you can say phi, tan phi equal to. So now phi is equal to, then you can find phi, tan of A minus B. Then you are going to get this equation. Okay, right. Phi you will get, then you take tan phi of that. From here, then we can find sin phi of m, which is given by alpha minus 1, alpha plus 1. That is omega m, and that is phi m. Okay. Right. So this relationship, again you remember, this one, very important, and tau is equal to 1 by pi and p is equal to alpha z. Right, sir. Very useful for computing a necessary ratio between the pole and zero of a compensator in order to provide a required maximum phase lead. It's simple mathematics, that's the thing. And the plot of Im versus alpha is drawn, right? And you can see maximum angle that you can achieve. Okay, after that it gets very difficult. It reaches to that maximum value. You want more than that, probably you have to introduce one more compensator. Okay, now let us look at how the procedure, the phase lead compensation using Bode diagrams. We'll design a lead compensator using Bode plot. So you can check the Brand's video over here, that's no problem. Then the frequency response of the cascade compensation network is added to the frequency response of the uncompensated system. This is a compensated system. Sorry, uncompensated transfer function. Once I introduce, this becomes a compensated system. So the open loop transfer function will be this one. If we can first plot the Bode diagram for the uncompensated open loop transfer function and determine a suitable location for P and Z of GC j omega in order to satisfactorily reshape the frequency response. The uncompensated G of j omega is plotted with the desired gain to allow an acceptable steady state here. Then the phase margin and the expected MP means peak overshoot are examined to find whether this is the procedure, whether they satisfy the required specification. If the phase margin is not sufficient, a phase lead can be added to the phase angle curve of the system by placing GC of JW in a suitable location. Then the phase margin and the expected MP are examined to find whether they satisfy the required specification. If the phase margin is not sufficient, phase lead can be added to the phase angle curve of the system by placing GCW in a suitable location. It is clear that in order to obtain maximum additional phase lead, the network frequency omega should be located at the frequency where the magnitude of the compensated magnitude curves crosses the 0 dB axis. Gain crossover, right? The value of the added phase lead required allows us to determine the necessary value of alpha. The 0 omega by 1 alpha tau is located by noting that maximum phase lead, and it should occur at omega m is equal to root of ZP halfway between the pole and the 0. Because the total magnitude gain of the network is 20 log alpha, a gain of 10 log alpha is expected at WM maximum frequency. See, this is the procedure. Now I'll apply this for the problem. Then the compensation network is determined using the following procedure. Okay, right. So evaluate the uncompensated system phase margin when the error constants are satisfied. Allowing for a small amount of safety, determine the necessary additional phase lead phi m. Evaluate alpha from the equation sin phi m is equal to alpha minus 1 by alpha plus 1. Then evaluate 10 log alpha and determine the frequency where the uncompensated magnitude curve is equal to minus 10 log alpha dB. Because the compensated network provides a gain of 10 log alpha to omega m, this frequency is the new 0 dB crossover frequency and omega m simultaneously. Then calculate pole, then calculate 0, right? Draw the compensated frequency response, check the resulting phase margin and repeat the steps if necessary, finally for an acceptable design. Raise the gain of the amplifier in order to account for the attenuation of 1 by alpha. Okay. Now whatever I mentioned, these steps I just follow now in this example. Let us look at this. A feedback control system has an open loop transfer function G of S H of S equal to K divided by S into S plus 2. it is desired to have a steady state error for a ramp input, right? Ramp input A by S. So steady state error for a ramp input is 1 by kV for type 1 system.